HaShem Na'aseh. No.
You said a few weeks ago in the Rashad Zoka about Yidus Zakai, so I've been telling someone about it, and it says his biggest student is Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, but I forgot who's the least.
No, he is. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai was the least of his students.
Oh, he was the least. I said it the wrong way.
Yeah, Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, Yonatan ben Uziel
Was the least?
was the highest.
Oh, so who's the least? Rabbi
Yochanan ben Zakkai.
Did you talk, was that the one you speak about today in the Gemara?
Yonatan,
Rabbi Yochanan?
Rabbi Yochanan and Yonatan ben Uziel, both in the Gemara. Both of them are in the Gemara. Yonatan ben Uziel, it says that when he would study Torah, he would create a spiritual fire that any bird that would fly above him would burn. Right. And Rabbi Yochanan knew all the Torah, all the oral Torah, all the written Torah, all the languages of the trees, languages of the Shedim, languages of the Malachim. He knew like wisdom that we can't really even understand his wisdom. Huh? Of course, he was the highest. So he knew everything that Rabbi Yochanan knew and more. When Yonatan ben Uziel was the first one that actually wrote parts of the oral Torah, there was an earthquake in Israel, and a bat kol came to Shamayim. This is in Gemara Masechet Megillah. Talks about when he started putting a commentary on Torah, giving some secrets of the Torah in his commentary.
He wrote books?
Yes, he wrote like a midrash, like a commentary. He's the beginning of oral Torah started with him, Yonatan ben Uziel. Before him, it wasn't written. 2,500 years ago.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought about this, but we were talking about JC. They say it's his birthday, Xmas. But how can they know it's his birthday?
No. As a matter of fact, all scholars, all of the people know that it's not his birthday. December 25th has nothing to do with his birthday. It's the same date every year, December 25th, but it has nothing to do with his birthday. But it's this year it is, but it's not always the same day. But it's not his birthday. Everyone knows it's not his birthday, but it has to do more with idol worship. There was a lot of idol worshiping, and it was a day that they actually celebrated for murdering Jews and murdering different types of people that were innocent, and HaShem Erachem, unfortunately.
You said this new cult. It's like every day I hear something new.
Yeah, there's more bilbul. There's more confusion.
I'm saying maybe there's a half of a 1% that's truth. But like I don't blame people for not knowing the truth, because 99% out there is false.
Right.
So I doubt Hamkaf because not everyone has the right rabbis.
Yes, the problem is that we have, and deep down inside, everyone knows what's true and what's not. Deep down inside, everyone knows that if the Torah says that someone that is not doing the will of HaShem is going to get punished, but your rabbi told you that there's no such thing as punishment, you know that the rabbi's full of it.
Someone told me, yeah, it says, let's say Motimat, but there's 1,000. This is what I wanted to ask exactly. It's what's bothering me. Mm-hmm. So I tell a guy, it says Shabbat you can't consider it a minyan because you had a problem in the shul. So I tell him, yeah, he says, but the same way where it's written, there's 10 interpretations to every pasuk. So even to this, I'm sure you'll find a different interpretation that Chalal Shabbat is considered a Jew.
Yeah, but to somebody like that, you tell him, but the plain meaning is always valid. Meaning, they say that there's 70 faces to the Torah, meaning there's 70 different interpretations to the Torah, but they cannot contradict themselves. They can't say, like on one end it says mot, and it means death, but then one commentary will say it means life. It cannot contradict each other. It has to support it, meaning that it could say death means death in this world, and Yumat is also death, but Yumat means death in the next world. There's no Olam Haba. So that supports it. That's not contradicting it. So that's the thing. So the plain meaning of the verse always stands. Meaning, if it says death, it's death. That's the bottom line. This is also actually the same thing with the people that you mentioned already, J.C. Penney and falsianity. This is also one of the major mistakes that this new cult or religion or whatever it is that believes he was a rabbi, and they use Jewish sources of different rabbis that mentioned him favorably, saying he wasn't that bad, or different people that make commentary on him. First and foremost, they're not using the full source. They're using part of the source. If they actually put part of the full source, it will be something completely different. Second of all, anyone that mentioned him in a favorable way, is also saying that the Jesus that they're talking about is not the same Jesus that's mentioned in the Gemara. Because the Jesus in the Gemara is not mentioned in a favorable way in any way. He mentioned he's in Gehenom, mentioned he was a mamzer, it mentions that he was a kofer, and he did a lot of different major sins.
He did not love Torah in the beginning, but then
Doesn't matter. The point is he's still in Gehenom for forever. Right, he's still in Gehenom forever. So one of the guys said, yeah, but you could interpret it differently. You could interpret this Gemara differently. Yes, you could find different understandings of the same Gemara, but the plain meaning is never not valid. When Onkelos did a seance, Onkelos, which is the one that gave us commentary on the Torah, even before Rashi, Onkelos did a seance. It gave us in the Gemara, it says Onkelos did a seance and brought back J.C. Penney, and J.C. Penney says that he's being burned in feces in the seventh level of Gehenom. You can't interpret that in a different level. It doesn't become he's really in Gan Eden. You understand? So that's the thing. People take this 70 faces to the Torah too far. They start interpreting it in their own way, and a lot of people want to become Rashi. All of a sudden, this generation has a lot of people that want to become Rashi. They want to put commentary to the Torah. They want to add chidushim to the Torah. They want to add different things. It's all nonsense. If you're going to have a chidush that contradicts anyone before you, even a rabbi from a previous generation, from 30 years ago, your chidush is worthless.
A morad can never contradict a Tanakh. You could argue
Exactly.
but he can never contradict.
Exactly. So anyone that has a chidush, whether it's in regards to halacha, whether it's regards to midrash, whether it's regards to just general understanding, they have to check it against the sages. If you contradict the sages, you are wrong. This is the same thing goes with this guy that wrote a book about how converts are allowed to keep, not converts, how Noahides are allowed to keep Shabbat. This is completely wrong, and a lot of Noahides are staying Noahides because of this, saying, no, we don't want to convert, because really I want to just keep Shabbat. If I keep Shabbat, I can pretty much keep the whole Torah that I want, then I don't need to convert. So in essence, according to the Rambam, it's Chayav Mitah. But he decided to become the new Rambam of the generation, and he says, no, everyone is wrong before him, but he says, no, they actually said what I'm saying, but everyone didn't understand them. So, but the thing, there's one sentence that invalidates his entire book. There's one sentence that invalidates his entire arguments. And this is actually what you say in Kiddush. You say in Kiddush, Beni u'benechem, you say that the covenant of Shabbat is between HaShem and Am Yisrael. Not HaShem and everyone. HaShem and Am Yisrael. If HaShem said it's between me and the whole world, you would have said the whole world. So this, just one verse, destroys the entire argument. What happens though? Because he's looking for an argument to justify his actions, he's going to ignore it. Or he's going to mistranslate it and become the new Rashi / Rambam / whatever, but it becomes a big failure. It becomes a big Chilul Hashem, it becomes a big misleading. No, he's an Orthodox rabbi, he's just mistaken. So the thing is though, is that it's a problem when people don't value the sages for what they are. They don't value what the Torah really is. They think that everybody thinks that, they're in the same level. And they're not. We're not in the same level of the Rambam. We're not in the same level of even a shoe. We're not in the same level of Rashi. We're not even in the same level of the dust under the shoe of Rashi. And I think I told you guys a story about, who was it? Rabbi Chaim Mitzanz. Rabbi Chaim Mitzanz prayed one day to have, because he knew obviously everything we just learned and more, a million times more. And he says he knows that Yirat Shamayim is the foundation of connecting to Hashem. As Shlomo HaMelech said, Reshit Chochma Yirat Hashem. The beginning of wisdom is Yirat Shamayim. So Rabbi Chaim Mitzanz, what are you worried about? He's worried about testing his own Yirat Shamayim. So he prayed to Hashem. He's like, Hashem, give me the Yirat Shamayim that the Rambam had during his lowest time. The lowest time. Like not this highest level of Yirat Shamayim, but his lowest level of Yirat Shamayim, when he's, helping patients that are not Jews. If he's helping Am Yisrael's Jews, he probably has Yirat Shamayim because he's afraid. It's children of Hashem. But if it's non-Jews, maybe it's less. So give me his Yirat Shamayim when he's taking care of patients that are not Jewish. His prayer was answered, Rabbi Chaim Mitzan's prayer was answered, and the next day he wasn't able to leave the bed the entire day because he was petrified. Petrified. He had the Yirat Shamayim, the lowest level of Yirat Shamayim that the Rambam had from 900 years ago. He had it, and in his generation, which is much higher than us, in his generation, which is much, much higher generation than us, he wasn't able to move. He was completely disabled. So, when we treat the Rambam, or Rashi, or Rabbi Akiva, or any of the sages from previous generations, from previous millennia, like we're on the same level of them, and we can write commentary on what they said and all that stuff, then we haven't learned anything.
And we need to pray for ourselves.
Then we have to start worrying about level number one, which is Yirat Shamayim.
Yeah, about the Shabbat. So, Rabbi Tam, he's Rashi's grandson, right? So, he says that if you don't keep Shabbat till Rabbeinu Tam, then you actually got Isur Karet. But Mishnah says, till you see 3 stars. I checked this Shabbat. They said Shabbat was over 6:15, I think. And just at that time, I was able to see 3 stars. So according to him, Rabbeinu Tam, and some rabbis said you have to follow Rabbeinu Tam because it might...
No, but the halakha goes with Rashi. It doesn't go with...
if you didn't follow his way...
It's good to...
Then you violated Shabbat. But Mishnah, you can't contradict the Mishnah. It says
Mishnah is Mishnah. Mishnah is superior. But the point is, same thing with the Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin.
He lived in France.
No, it's the same thing with Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin. Rabbeinu Tam Tefillin, some people do both Tefillin, the Rashi and Rabbeinu Tam. They're slightly different. But overall, many people do both. But you don't do the blessing on Rabbeinu Tam. You do on Rashi. So, even though, so Rabbi Vadi would say, listen, you do it, but you don't do the blessing. Why? Because the acceptable is not his.
Wear both at the same time.
You can wear both at the same time, no problem. But the point is, the blessing is on Rashi. It's not blessed. You don't bless on Rabbeinu Tam. If you're blessing Rabbeinu Tam, it's a sin.
So it's better though to keep Rabbeinu Tam, to take out Shabbat 72 minutes after, just to be on the same.
It's up to you. It's up to you. If you want to hold by him, you hold by him.
I heard if you keep it after and you keep like you got to lasut the Shabbat. I heard this midrash. It's chidush that every time you add another hour to the Shabbat, like you take a little bit before, take a little after, at the end of the year, you actually like created a whole Shabbat for yourself.
Ken, 100%. The only thing is that whatever you do, you have to stay by it. Meaning, you can't just add and subtract minagim on a regular basis. If you start keeping Shabbat, like a lot of people keep Shabbat during the summer months, they start it later, they start it early. They change the hours a little bit of when it's supposed to start. And you have to understand that if you're going to do that, like they want to bring Shabbat earlier during the summer. They bring it early because Shabbat comes in late, so they want to bring it early. Instead of bringing it at 8 o'clock, they bring it at 7, an hour early. Now anyone that does that, because a lot of communities do it, they have to already say in their mind, this is only for now. This is not like the whole year, this is not permanent, and this is not even for the rest of my life. This is only for this Shabbat. They have to say it in their mind. Why? Because if they make it a kiv, something kavua, they do it on a regular basis, it becomes in essence a partial neder. It becomes a neder, meaning that if they don't do it the following year because they moved community or they don't feel like it or they had work or whatever the case is, they're actually violating Shabbat. So it's a problem. Or not necessarily violating Shabbat, but they're violating a neder. And violating a neder could bring some serious problems. So anything that you do that's above and beyond halacha, you have to make sure that you're already saying mentally, I'm just trying this out, this is not a neder, I'm not promising. But in general, what I recommend, according to Rambam, according to all Gdolei Historia, until you are fully acclimated with all of the mitzvot that are basic level Judaism, tzitzit, kippah, good midot, keep Shabbat, keep kosher, keep tarat mishpacha, watch your eyes, all of the basic level, learn Torah every single day, don't waste your time, don't watch things that you're not allowed to, don't waste seed. A lot of the basic level things that we learn about until you become a pro. And all of them where it's pretty much part of your neshama, your blood, everything, Don't even try anything above. Don't even try. Why? Because...
Not to last.
Not to last.
Yeah, I heard that if you kept 3 Rabbeinu Tam Shabbats in a row, then you must from then on continue keeping them, or it's like you violated. Same thing, if you start putting in the morning 1 week, also Rabbeinu Tam feeding, that means you must continue putting it on.
No, one time. I mean, yeah, like I said, it's if you have to say it in your mind that if it's just you're trying it out, you're not necessarily doing it on a regular basis, or it's a one-time thing, or a 1 month thing, or something like that.
Do it till you're gonna stop.
Right. So it's then, no, you have to be very careful with adding things. Also, if you add 2 things in the beginning, when you're only about Tshuva for a couple of years, you add too many things, and then you realize that you can't do all of it. The Satan makes you think, like, hey, listen, you're not at a level of Rabbeinu Tam. Look, so you might as well just give up Rashi too. You're not at a level of learning 3 hours a day. You might as well not even learn an hour. You're not at a level of watching your brit. Look, you screwed up and you wasted seed today. Might as well do it every day. Might as well date a goyatu. Might as well intermarry. Might as well eat taref. Next thing you know, you become Satan. So the Satan is going to try to use this stuff against you when you fail, if you fail. So you have to be very, very careful. You have to take, again, the 620 mitzvot that we have, not all of them are relevant to us. Somewhere in the neighborhood of about 300 or so are relevant to us. Most of them, there's maybe like less than 100, maybe 80 something that we have to do, and about 200 or so that we can't do. So if you...
I heard Chanukah is like...
Right, so the thing is though, you have to focus on doing them. Doing all those mitzvot, learn what they are, learn Torah, do the basics, don't add anything to it, don't subtract anything to it. And I'm telling you, as soon as you get to a point where you're learning Torah and you actually are worrying about Yirat Shamayim, you're worrying about working on your midot, even taking stuff that's extra is not going to look like it's extra to you. Keeping Shabbat extra 40 minutes, or extra hour, or extra 2 hours, it's not going to seem to you like you're keeping it extra. Why? Because you're going to want Shabbat to be the whole week.
Yeah, you wait every week for it.
So instead, that's the thing, or kosher, or any of those things that are extra, it's not going to feel like the same level of mesirut nefesh because you're going to want it. Yeah. But that's only if you're proficient in all of the basics. If you're proficient in all the basics, you're really working on the right things, you have the right leadership, you have the right instructions and direction, you'll be fine. You'll be much better off than if people just make up what they want and how they want and all of those things, because... Yeah, no, that thing you can't.
And come see Yaron B'ezrat Hashem every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday you have to come.
Yeah. Or listen live. Did you do that?
8:30.
Oh, Rabbi, I heard Rabbi Nachman said that there are 2 mitzvot that are rabbinical, but they're one of the most powerful ones. It's Chanukah and Mikveh. People misunderstand this, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful mitzvot. The Mikveh could really help you.
Yeah, we learned last week or 2 weeks ago that you can't really value, 2 weeks ago, you can't put a price on any mitzvah as far as which one's important, which one's not important, because we don't really know the value of each mitzvah.
Actually give you benefits more than others.
Yeah, but in general, there's a certain mitzvah that we don't even understand, like shluach haken, like taking the eggs or the baby chicks from the mom. Yeah. It says that we get a long life for that. Who understands that mitzvah?
I heard a good explanation that the mother afterwards goes cries to HaShem. Then HaShem starts having mercy. Something like that.
I did a chidush about it, about how it's in essence supposed to, the fact that we feel bad as a result of it should remind us that Hashem feels bad when He's not having His son. So there's a few different chidushim about it, a few different commentaries on it, but it's still a tough mitzvah to understand. Okay, so it's great, it makes this, it makes that, but why is, it says you're going to have a long life.
If I'll do it, it means I'm going to live much longer than I was supposed to.
Point is, yeah, but you can't look for it. Shluach haken is not if you go look for a different thing. It's only if it happens.
Yeah, like if I go and I see it on the tree.
If you happen to see it, not if you go look for it.
I didn't care once.
If you see it, but you're not looking for it. Like not if you become one of these hunters, you're looking. Yes, all right. Anyway, point is that focus on the basics. B'ezrat Hashem, everything will work out. Anything else?
That's it.
Chazak.
Chazak.
Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen.